Things are multiplying. From 1 to 2. Why 2?
Then you can turn.
So that I can turn my head. Okay. Ganga Puja was nice.
Yes.
I missed it because I thought it was in the evening. I forgot it was AM. I thought it was 6:45 PM. I think it's all okay. सब ठीक है. ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकम् प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्. ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Yesterday we saw what is the Sthula Shariram. We saw that Sthula Shariram Kim. And we saw in short the definition of the what is this gross body. And just to summarize, what is that? It is the Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam. First thing, first one, what is that? It is a product of the 5 elements. What kind of 5 elements? Gross 5 elements. Don't worry about gross and subtle, it will be explained later. That's why I'm not doing it right now. So the gross 5 elements and are the cause of the subtle body. Because gross means objectifiable. So you can see the connection between water, the element of water, you can see the connection between the element of water and the element of the fluids in the body. Everybody is able to hear? No, nobody is able to hear. No. Despite 2 mics. Now? Yes? No? Okay. Able to hear? Okay, perfect. So the 5 elements tangibly are connected. The most tangible example is Vayu. We saw that yesterday. The air outside you take in a gross form. And then the body does everything that it needs to, throws out the carbon dioxide and then purifies the blood, etc., etc., oxygenates the blood. All this we saw. So, panchikrita panchamahabhutaihi kritam satkarmajanyam. We also saw that it's a product of good karma. Product of good karma. And so, product of good karma means, why is it good karma? That also we have seen. Why is it good karma? Hello. Good morning. Yeah. Why is it good karma? Manushya Janma. Okay, just two, three catchphrases are enough. Please close the back door. Yeah, thank you. So, Manushya Janma is bigger, is a cause of punya. Why is it a cause of punya? Because we get to study this and we get to express and experience not only dukkha but also sukha. Because see, the sukha experience of animals are very, very basic, simple. The cow may say, I have a desire to go into the next field. Why? Because it has greener grass or more daisies, more flowers to eat on the other side. That's about it. The cow doesn't have the gamut of desires or the ability to fulfill the desires that the human being does. Therefore, sat karma janyam. You will never find a cow, for example, applying for tourist visa to go to America. I think I will go and see how the cows live there. Actually, it will be very depressed if it went on a tour like that. So like this, with the Satkarma Janyam, we have a lot to be thankful for to be in this body. And then Sukha Dukkhadi Ayatanam Kshetram. We saw it is a counter of experience. It's a field where the experiences take place. Because we need a field where the experiences take place. If the Sukha and Dukkha are being experienced by some other entity next to me, what is the use? This body has to be the field in which the expression of the Sukha and Dukkha has to take place. Sukha, Dukkha, Adi, and so many other. The whole gamut of human experiences takes place. So, Sukha, Dukkha, Adi, Bhoga, Ayatanam, Bhoga, Ayatanam, counter of experiences, not to be confused with the experiencer. And lastly, that which is subject to the 6 vikaras. We saw the vikaras, 6 kinds of modification from janma to marana, the birth to death, and birth and death themselves are the 2 modifications. Birth and death are like the bread, 2 slices of bread. And in between you have the 4 things which make up the sandwich. Okay. Now, so the jiva is sandwiched between the 4 vikaras that come between birth and death. Growing up, existing, and changing, blossoming, and decaying, degenerating. All this is included. And so this is the gross body. Now we can predict the student's next question. What will be the next question? Sukshma Shariram Kim. We know now how this dialogue happens. And so, the Sukshma Shariram, the teacher explains, Apanchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam Satkarmajanyam Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Sadhanam Panchajnanendriyani Panchakarmendriyani Panchapranadayah Manaschaitam Buddhi cha eka Evam Saptadashakalabhihi Yat Tishtati Tat Sukshma Shariram. If the physical body is a place where the experiences happen, experiences of sukha and dukkha, the subtle body is the sadhana or the instruments of the experience. Do you see the difference? One is the field, one is the instrument through which the happiness, sadness, and all other experiences, pain, physical pain, I mean like any kind of sensations, etc., take place. Subtle body. Subtle because it cannot be objectified very easily. Subtle. It's like the fan. You put the fan on, you see it moving, but you don't know the electricity. You don't see the electricity coming through the wires that make it move. Similarly, you switch the light on, the bulb shines, but then there is some subtle connection between the wires and the bulb and the switch that makes the light go on. So this is how the subtle body is. It's the karana. Karana means various instruments through which this world is taken in. That is what it is. And whereas the gross body is what? The physical body is the place where the experiences happen. It's the location of the experience. And the subtle body is the means through which things are experienced. That's why it is called bhoga sadhanam. It's the instrument of experience. And then we are told saptadasha kalabhihi. Let's go to that first. Saptadasha kalabhihi yad vartate or yad tishtati tat sukshma shariram. It is composed of 17 things. There'll be a quiz afterwards. Okay. Yeah. So 17 things means what? So it's all groups of 5. So we have 5 jnanendriyani, pancha jnanendriyani, 5 sense organs. Do I need to list them? Thank God. Okay. So 5 sense organs. And then 5 organs of action that I will list. Speech, 1. Hands, 2. Even though there are 2 hands, they are only counted as 1. Okay? Yeah. Don't say left hand 1, right hand 2. No. Both hands 1. Both legs 1. 3. So speech, vak, pani, padam, padau, and then upastha, payu. Upastha, reproductive organs. Payu, eliminatory organs. These comprise the 5 organs of action. Again, subtle. You don't know how the hands move. You know this, that, okay, the pot is over there. I have to train the brain to give a command to the hand to go grasp it. But it's all very subtle how that mechanism happens and how quickly it happens. You're standing in line for the lunch. And then what? Getting little anxious because the gulab jamuns in the big tray are getting less and less and less. And then gulab jamun means a ball of calories. Okay, you will encounter it soon. Yes. Yeah. They're getting less and less and less and less and less. And then you have to go and then gently nudge the person in line, not push, because this is the Vedanta ashram. Gently nudge with the words, this is not good for you. Yes, please step aside because I'm very worried about your health. Yeah, this is not very good for you. And so then you gently convince them this is not good for them and then go and grab it before somebody else does. Okay, very subtle. Whole operation is very subtle. So, jnanendriyani, karmendriyas, and then pancha prana, 5 pranas. We only know prana as respiration, but there are many involuntary actions that take place. Like we are not responsible for digesting the food. Thank God. Such hard work. There is a mortar and pestle inside that digests the food that we eat, Bhagavan. In the form of samana vayu, digestive force. Vayu here means vital force, life force. Prana, respiration. Apana, elimination. Samana, digestion. Vyana, circulation. And then finally what? Udana. What is this udana? The Udana is just the one that sits and counts. We don't come into this world with an assigned number of years. We come into this world with an assigned number of breaths. When those are exhausted, what happens? Bye-bye. Finished. And so, therefore, the yogis thought we can hoodwink Lord Yama. I will train myself to breathe in the first minute and breathe out 2 minutes later. And therefore, that means I'm exhausted. The breaths given to me at a slower and slower pace. Then I hoodwink Lord Yama? Not at all. Lord Yama says, oh, this person has taken up yoga. Oh, and pranayama also. Time for me to have a coffee break. Goes to Starbucks. That's all. Waiting there. Just the person lives for 5 years more. That's all. What did you do? You have 5 years more in your ayas, in your lifespan. What did you do? I don't know. I was busy breathing. I was busy modulating my breath. That's all. So 5 pranas. Then how many? We are counting. 5 indriyas. Yeah, 15. Manaha cha ekam manas. And then buddhi. Eka buddhi. One manas. Total is what? Abba. So that which is composed of kalabhihi, 17 factors. Saptadashaka kalabhihi, endowed with 17 factors, that which is there is called Sukshma Shariram. Okay, what is it made of? Apanchi kritam panchamaha bhutaihi kritam. Whereas the Sthula Shariram, panchikrita panchamaha bhutaihi kritam. So, panchikrita means the grossified elements, and here ungrossified elements, rare elements, elements in their not mixed up form. That is what is taught here. So, the elements in their subtle form. So, very simple. The subtle elements go to make up the subtle body. The gross elements go up to make up the gross body. So what's the difference between gross and subtle element? The gross elements, I'll just say briefly, because otherwise, it will be hard to move forward wondering what is this gross and non-gross elements. The gross elements means that it has all the different elements, not just air. So the gross air elements, as we understand, is half of the air element and 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 of the other 4. Do you see that? That means gross air element. So the gross water element will be comprised half water and the 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 what? Yeah, other elements. So this is the, no, not 1/4, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. See, I'm not very good at mathematics. So 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Does that become 1/2? Does that become half? Yes. So the other half is 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. And then that makes it the gross water element and so on. So that is the apanchikrita, means without any mix-up of other elements. And then this also satkarmajanyam. Satkarmajanyam means what? Born of good karma. To have the subtle, born of good karma. Any subtle experience is because of good karma alone. So you have something, some wonderful ice cream. Yes. And then in order to taste that, you need what? Jihva, taste. The organ of taste. And then so many things like that. There are wonderful things to experience in this Jagat. All of them are because of the subtle body, which is, it becomes a sadhana through which these experiences are enjoyed. The enjoying of these experiences, the enjoyment of these experiences is because of what? Because of the subtle organs, the subtle body. The presence of the subtle body does that. So satkarma janyam. And then what else? And then sukha dukkhadi bhoga sadhanam. And then it is the sadhana or the instrument of experience. So the manaha and the buddhi, a small note here. Why is manaha and buddhi distinguished? Actually, there are four. Manaha, buddhi, chittam, ahankara, all together they are known as manaha. Here, buddhi is distinguished because, again, it's an important place. It's an important sadhana for being able to articulate, not only to enjoy, but also to articulate the experience. So, therefore, the buddhi is highlighted separately. So, these 17 things are the sukshma shariram. The teacher has more to say about the sukshma shariram, doesn't wait for the student to ask any more questions because the teacher's talk about the sukshma sharira is not complete. Shrotram, vak, chakshuhu, rasana, घ्राणमिति panchendriyani. So this is just the he lists here. Shrotram tvak, shrotram ears, and then tvak skin, chakshuhu eyes, rasana jihva taste, sense of taste, ghranam sense of smell. These are the 5 jnanendriyas. They are called jnanendriyas because through them the jnanam of the jagat takes place. Then, yesterday I touched upon this. In fact, we saw this very nicely, is that how one is not just floundering by oneself in the universe. One is connected to each and everything in a very, very palpable way. First, there is this body, mind, sense complex, and all the things it experiences. But all of the things that it experiences, it does not experience in a vacuum. It experiences because of other things. Everything in this universe is interdependent, except the I, the observer, or the one who says everything is interdependent. Barring that, everything is connected to everything else. Nothing is separate. You see, simple example. The bees derive their food from what? Buffet? Did somebody say? No. Yeah, flowers. And the flowers in turn depend upon the bees to reproduce for pollination. Because when they go sit on the flower and put their little stinger and like a little syringe, they plunge the needle and then draw out the nectar of the flower where their legs have been in the pollen. Then from there they go to the other flower, they go to somewhere else and spread that. There is an interdependence. Same thing you see. You see that on a tree, so many other life forms are dependent. Mushrooms grow, and so many other, what are they called? Creepers. Creepers grow, mushrooms grow, all kinds of things grow. And they in turn help the tree in certain ways which we may not even be aware of. So everything is interdependent. Everything has come from the 5 elements. And this body, also a product of the subtle and the gross 5 elements, there is an interdependence. And this interdependence is understood in the form of a law, in the form of various laws that are just manifest in the universe. Because it's an intelligent interdependence. It's not a dumb interdependence. It's not a random interdependence. It's an intelligent interdependence. You see, for example, it's like the body needs certain things. and the certain things that the body needs are all happen to be right there. When the child is born, any baby of any species, giraffe baby, elephant baby, dog baby, cat baby, human baby, needs what as soon as it's born? Milk. Milk is there. And the animals, you see any of these National Geographic videos, it comes out, the baby animal comes out, without GPS, it finds its way to the mother's milk. It doesn't even need to know, should I take a left here, let me consult my smartphone. And while in the womb, it doesn't think, I think, I'll require milk. Maybe I'll order it on Amazon and then only be born. No such thing. It is just born and milk is there. And human baby also, it needs to breathe, opens the mouth. Breath rushes in most of the time. Sometimes they have to suction off some birth fluids and all that, but still, it's there, happens. And so, therefore, this is an intelligent universe, intelligently put together, intelligently interdependent. And this interdependence is in the form of laws, and the laws are non-separate from the maker of the laws, which is Ishvara. So the universal laws, starting with gravity, starting with strong force, weak force, gravitational force, all these forces, they are all what? Laws. And unlike other theologies, the laws of Bhagavan for us are not mandates of Bhagavan, but manifestations of Bhagavan. They're all manifestations. They're not God. What we call God is not sitting somewhere and going like this. Come on, do this. No. That is also Bhagavan. So that's why we can see Ishvara through three standpoints. Adhidaivikam, Ishvara in the form of various laws. Adhibhautikam, the manner in which those laws are manifest within my own body and within the other bodies, and how there is a certain uniformity of that manifestation. Then Adhyatmikam, how is this manifest in me? How is it connected to me? That same law, the expression of the law in my own body, mind, sense complex, in my surroundings, and the connection between the law and myself. This is all various forms of Ishvara. And so here, therefore, we say that the ears don't function on their own. If the ears, all you needed is an organ, ear, for it to hear, then the dead person would also be hearing. Correct? And they will have a say. No, I don't want this for my funeral. They will be saying all kinds of things because they are hearing the plans that the surviving relatives are making. But the eyes, maybe the person has died with the eyes open, the eyes don't see, ears don't hear. So the organ is one thing, it's the grossest example of what is happening. That too is part of the law. But you see that there is something there that enables the hearing to take place. And we can go step by step, like in the Kenopanishad. We can say, oh, the hearing takes place because the mind is behind the ears. True, the mind is behind the ears, therefore the hearing can take place. Absolutely. Therefore, if you're not paying attention, or if you're asleep and the mind is in a causal form, and somebody calls out your name, it takes a few tries before you wake up. So that means that the mind should be there behind the ears. But what is the status of this mind? It too is janya, kritam, product. It is the product in the form of the subtle body. The mind itself is subject to vagaries. Sometimes it is there, sometimes it is not there. What is it that makes the mind give the command to the ears to hear? You cannot say it's the mind itself that commands itself. No. The mind, as we'll see later, is inert, insentient. It is living on borrowed light. It comes to have a sentiency based on the light borrowed from Satchidananda Atma. Like the crow story going into the peacock convention. Everything is Satchidananda. Mind is also Satchidananda Atma, and it is shining in the light that is borrowed. Shining in this borrowed light, it preens around mind, ahankara, all of these things. And then here the mind alone is not. Mind also receives its impetus. From whom? We have to say here, Ishvara. But in our tradition, we have a very, very, very sophisticated understanding of Ishvara. Extremely sophisticated. We have Ishvara, therefore, because if everything in a culture, in a tradition that says everything is Bhagavan, that means anything I can look upon as Bhagavan. Anything I can look upon. I can pick up a rock from the river and then what? See it as Gangadhareshwara. That's what it is. Pujya Swamiji went out of that ghat, which we see here. He went out, went under the water, and then picked up this, and he said, this will be the Shiva Linga from right outside here. Gangadhareshwara that we worship every day. Chosen, picked up by Pujya Swamiji. And the story goes that when people tried to help him to lift it, they could not even lift it. But he had no trouble lifting it himself. And he brought it. And this is how the temple was established. So we can say, even the stone is Ishvara. Ishvara is there. Somebody was wearing a, t-shirt. Ishvara rocks. Yeah, pun intended. That person is not there today. So, yeah. So, Ishvara rocks. Yeah, pun intended. Ishvara, rock is Ishvara. That's why Ishvara in our tradition rocks, because we have this very sophisticated understanding of Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. We are not worshipping a rock. We are transcending it, just like what? Touch wood. Yes. Some arthaspuranam is taking place. I'm very happy. So, just like that. I use this as a medium to reach that which cannot be objectified, which has no form in particular. Every form is her form, every form is his form. There is no she, there is no he. What we call he is non-separate from she. What we call she is non-separate from he, because it's neither he nor she. And this is Ishvara, this is Bhagavan. And so this Bhagavan is, we can invoke in many, many, many forms. You see those trees there next to the lecture hall, the big lecture hall, and you'll see people coming and worshipping. Those trees married to each other. They decided to get married. And it doesn't happen very often. And it's a moment of sacredness. Any union is sacred because it's that search for that oneness. There also Ishvara is seen and worshipped. Everywhere. Tree is Ishvara and sky is Bhagavan. River, of course, is Bhagavan. You saw that today. She is Bhagavati, mother. And we saw so many things we can have. No form is separate from Bhagavan. And so we are free enough to invoke Ishvara through many, 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 many forms. Why? Because we are in trouble. We need help. So, therefore, we have the presiding devatas, the presiding deities of all the sense organs, presiding deities of the organs of action, presiding deities of the mind, presiding deity of the buddhi. So, if any problem is there, we just go to the presiding deity. There is a very interesting connection. The presiding deity of the ears are the directions. Why directions? Directions is where the sound takes place. So when a sound comes, you turn. Oh, it's coming from the eastern direction, it's coming from the northern directions, you say that. So this is how we worship Bhagavan as the one that is in charge of the entire body, mind, sense complex. And so now the author lists all these devatas, and you see this in the Laghunyasa of the Rudram. Before the Rudram is chanted in the temple, the Laghunyasa is chanted, and there you will see all these words. Shrotrasya Digdevata Vajo Vayuhu Chakshusha Suryah Rasanayaha Varunaha Granasya Ashvinau Iti Gnanendriya Devataha Shrotrasya Vishayah Shabdagrahanam Tvacho Vishayah Sparshagrahanam Chakshusho Vishayah Rupagrahanam Rasanaya Vishayah Rasagrahanam Granasya Vishayah Gandhagrahanam iti. So first the devatas are listed and then the functions are listed. Very interesting. One would think that the functions should come first and then the devatas. No, that's not the tradition. The tradition is to do a namaskar by listing the devatas because of the functionaries, because of whom the functions take place. So Shrotrasya Digdevata, the presiding deity of the ears, are the directions. And they are 10 in number, 4 cardinal directions, 4 non-cardinal directions, up and down, above and below. This is Dig Devata, then Shrotrasya Devata. Then Chakshusha, Shrotrasya, so then Shrotrasya Dig Devata. Tvacho Vayuhu. Tvak means skin. Skin is an organ. It's a sense organ. It senses things. First thing that it senses is what? Air blowing on the skin. So the Vayu Devata is the presiding deity of the skin. The skin is unlike any other organ because it has no particular location. Eyes have a location, they are in the head. Nose has a location, that's on the face. And then what? Everything has a location. Tongue has a location in the mouth, whereas the skin pervades everything. All pervades. It is the boundary between I and not I. This is what the skin is. And then Tvacho Devata Vayuhu Chakshushaha Suryaha. The Surya not the sun, but Bhagavan in the form of the sun blesses the eyes to see, because when, for sight to take place, what do you need? Light. You need light. Without light, you can't see anything. And that light, the original light, of course, you can have tube light, you can have so many other moonlight, firelight, you can have many lights, candle light, but the original light is what? Sun. So there is a connection between the sun and sight. That's why if there are any sight problems, we are asked to chant this notes of notes of worship for Bhagavan in the form of sun in a text, short text, 33 verses or so, called Aditya Hridayam. Any kind of anomalies with the eyes, it works, it really works. Pujya Swamiji told this for somebody to chant, that person had some kind of a irreversible eye damage, and degenerative condition where the eyes were going. Ask them to chant, and after they chanted for a while, it just got reversed and it stopped degenerating. Amazing. And then, of course, Shraddha must be there, and the Prarabdha must not be too strong and should be weak enough to be neutralized, then it will work. Then, what was the next one? Chakshushaha Suryaha Rasanayaha Varunaha. Varunaha means water devata. If the tongue was completely dry, can there be taste? When you're totally dehydrated and the tongue feels like sandpaper, you cannot taste anything. Whatever you put in the mouth will taste like cardboard. So therefore, the water devata is what activates the tongue to taste. That is the connection. And then what is Granasya Ashvinau, the healing twins. Healing twins. Ashwin number 1, Ashwin number 2. Both were twins, and both of them unfortunately have the same name. You can't tell them apart at all. They are, for all practical purposes, one person. Just like the nose is one nose, but divided into 2 nostrils. Just like that, Ashwin number 1 for the first nostril, Ashwin number 2, the Devata of the second nostril. We can say that. Because a lot of healing takes place with the nose, with the sense of smell. Remember, these Victorian films and novels, when the women would just faint. And then what would the people do? Smelling salt, a pouch, maybe lavender, I don't know what all it had in it. It will some kind of a herbs, and the person is not available for transaction, but you slowly keep it under the nose and then they come back. That's what shows Ashwins are there. Blessing the person in the form of the Grana Devatas. And then further, what else? That's what. Grana Devata, Ashvinau iti Jnanendriya Devataha. Then the functions are mentioned, very straightforward. We can just run through this, nothing much to say. Shrotrasya Vishayaha. Vishayaha means the subject matter of the ears is what? Shabda Grahanam, the grasping of sound. Vacho Vishayah Sparshagrahanam. Chakshushaha Vishayah Rupagrahanam. And then so the sense of touch is to enables one to have this have the sense of touch. The eyes enable one to see, the tongue enables one to taste, and the subject matter for the sense of smell is Gandha Grahanam, the recognition of various kinds of smells in the world. And now he talks about the Karmendriyas. Vakpani, Pada, Payu, Upasthani iti Panchakarmendriyani Vacho Devata Vanyihi Hastayor Indraha Padayor Vishnuhu Payor Mrityuhu Upasthasya Prajapatihi Iti Karmendriya Devataha Vacho Vishayaha Bhashanam Panyor Vishayaha Vastu Grahanam Padayor Vishayaha Gamanam Payor Vishayaha Malatyagaha Upasthasya Vishayaha Anandaha iti. So now the Karmendriyas, the organs of action, are what? Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastha. Vak, speech. And then Pani, speech means what? The tongue doubles, is both a Jnanendriya and a Karmendriya. Very interesting. So the tongue doubles as both a sense organ and an organ of action. Therefore, we have to be very, very careful how we use the tongue. Double responsibility. Double responsibility. And so then, so vak, and then pani, hands, pada, feet, payu, eliminatory organs, upastha, reproductive organs. These are the 5 organs of action. So vacho devata, vanhihi. Fire is the devata of vak. Why? Very good question. Because the fellow has fiery speech. No. It can be an explanation, but that is not the real explanation. The explanation here is because when you talk, you're supposed, what do? You throw light on the subject. In fact, people ask, in the satsang question and all, people sometimes ask, Swaminiji, can you please throw light on this subject? And this is the function of the speech. Imagine what all we are using the speech for. First, to complain. Yeah, that is the definition of jiva. Too hot, too hot, too hot, too hot, too hot. And then in a few months, too cold, too cold, too cold, too cold. Oh my God, Rishikesh, oh my God, I don't want to be here. First, we complain. Then, the tongue is also used to complain about not just the weather, but other people. You know, this one is like that. You know, that one is like that. I would enjoy the course much more if you were not there. This is the complaint. These are a series of complaints. So we use it to complain. We use the tongue to gossip. We use the tongue to give a lashing to others. How dare you do this? Don't you know that this is my nap time? How dare you play something during when I'm sleeping? This is the, give the other person a nice lashing, also with the tongue. And then, so the tongue, according to the Shastra, has to be used for one purpose and one purpose alone, is to clarify or to throw light on an object. Sometimes the object is a subject in a Vedanta class, for example. That's also okay. This is very, very beautiful. Because the whole grammar structure in Sanskrit, I don't know how far everybody has come here in the Sanskrit classes, but the whole grammar structure is based on this very expression here. Vagdevata Vanhihi. How? Because what we call Prathama Purushaha. Prathama Purushaha is what? First person. First person in English is I. We start with me. No. Here the Prathama Purusha is the subject matter. That is Prathama Purusha. Subject matter. What is there to talk about? The Vishaya which needs to be illuminated. That is what this Vak, the Devata does. Illumines the topic of the speech. So the topic of the speech is the Jagat. That is the first Prathama Purusha. And then to whom I am speaking, because I'm not speaking by myself. I'm not telling things to myself, right? Hopefully. All right. And so I'm speaking to who? You. I'm speaking to another person. That becomes Madhyama Purusha. To whom the topics of the Jagat are being thrown light upon. That is Madhyama Purusha. And then, who is the speaker? Uttama Purusha. It's called Uttama Purusha because Uttama Purusha is Bhagavan. Non-separate from Bhagavan. Uttamah Purushastvanyah Paramatmetyudakritah Yo Lokatrayamavishya Vibhartyavyaya Ishwarah. Don't want to chant more because people will start feeling hungry. Yeah. Uttama Purushaha tu Anyaha. Here in the 15th chapter, the Purusha, Bhagavan, is described through three standpoints. Kshara, Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, and Uttama Purusha. What is this Kshara? Bhagavan in the form of everything that is finite is this entire Jagat of names and forms. Kshara. Akshara is the cause, Maya, Avyakta. The cause of this Jagat, we'll come to that. The Shakti that gives rise to this Jagat, that gives birth to the Jagat is called Akshara Purusha. And the one which is not acting, the one who is the observer of the Jagat, unaffected by the Jagat, not entangled with the Jagat, Uttama Purusha, the most exalted one. The one who is talking is the most exalted because I am non-separate from the subject matter. I am non-separate from the one to whom I am talking. And since I know these things, I am the most exalted one. Very nice. So Vagdevata Vanhihi. And then what else? Pani, then Hastayor Indraha. Indra is strength. Bala, that's why. So you want the hands to be strong. That's why you lift weights. Yeah, like this. You lift weights and then you make it strong. And then if you go to the doctor, they test the strength. They will say, okay, I'm going to put my hand there, you put your hand here, and you resist the motion. Let's see how much strength you have. So that's why Indra. Indra is strong because he's got the thunderbolt as his mascot, Vajra. Yes. So therefore, it's like the hands should be as strong as the thunderbolt, we pray. And then Padayoho Vishnuhu. Vishnu means Sarva Vyapi, is everywhere. That which is everywhere. Vyapnoti Sarvam, Vishnuhu. And so therefore, the legs, what do the legs do? They have to go places. So may my legs be blessed by Vishnu, my feet, legs be powered by Vishnu, who is everywhere, all at once. Very nice. Then what else? Payoho Mrityuhu. Lord Yama is in charge of the eliminatory organs. Because it's the end of the digestive cycle. You see that? Yeah. Begin with the food going through the mouth, and then it comes out at the other end of the alimentary canal. And so that means it's the end of a cycle. Therefore, it is presided by Lord Yama Mrityu. Mrityuhu. Upasthasya Prajapatihi. The one in charge of the reproductory organs is Prajapati. Prajapati is Lord Brahmaji. Because of we see there is a connection between Vyashti and Samashti. Vyashti means I am just here, the individual. Samashti, the total. So the total, from the standpoint of the total, the whole Jagat came about because Prajapati, Lord Brahmaji, the creator. And so that same creator is in charge of the organs of creation within the individual human body. And so, and then the functions are given here. Vacho iti karmendriya devataha. These are the devatas. This is just a list, you know. So vacho vishayaha bhashanam. The function of the talk, function of vak is speech. Panyor vishayaha vastu grahanam. The hands, what do? They grab on to things and never let go. Okay. So they grab on to things. That is the hand. And what does the feet do? Gamanam, goes here and there. The feet go here and there. And then payor vishayaha malatyagaha. Mala means impurities. Malatyagaha, getting rid of impurities, is the job of the organs of elimination. Upasthasya vishayaha anandaha. The reproductive organs What do they do? They give the person some kind of pleasure. And that is that concludes the discussion of the Sukshma Shariram. Then the student asks, Karana Shariram Kim Anirvachya Anadi Vidya Rupam Shariradvayasya Karanamatram Satsvarupa Ajnanam Nirvikalpaka Rupam Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. So, what is this causal body? Karana Shariram. Literal translation. Karana, cause. So, causal body. What is this causal body? The causal body I had said earlier. What is that? Avidya. That which is the cause of the other two bodies. The seed form which gives rise to the other two bodies. Which other two bodies? Yeah. Not Karnendriya, Jnanendriya. Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira. The cause of the Sthula Sharira, the cause of the Sukshma Sharira is Karana Sharira. That's why it is called causal body, Karana Shariram. Sharira Dvayasya Karanam Yat Tishtati Tat Karana Shariram. Sharira Dvayasya is the meaning. Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram, that which is the sole cause. Matram means only cause. The sole cause of these two bodies. Which bodies? Yeah. Sthula and Sukshma, that those two bodies. And then that which is unaware of itself as Sat. Sat Swarupa Ajnanam. Nirvikalpaka Rupam, undifferentiated. We'll see all this in detail. This is just a translation. So first it is the cause of the other two bodies, the cause of the twofold bodies, the subtle and the gross, and that which is totally ignorant of itself, and that which is undifferentiated from everything else, and that which is anirvachyam. First word, anirvachya, cannot be said to exist, cannot be said to not exist. What we have talked about this a lot. Mithya, Karana Shariram is what? Mithya. Karana Sharira is avidya. Avidya is satyam or mithya? People have doubts. Yeah, Abba. Okay. Yeah. Avidya is not satyam. If avidya is satyam, then all the swamis, including myself, will be out of a job. We will be permanently unemployed. Okay, because what is there to teach? If avidya is satyam, then there is nothing to teach. That means we will be always having avidya, no matter how many classes we attend, no matter how many Upanishads we study. So what's the use? No use. No use at all. And so, thankfully, avidya is not satyam. What is it? Mithya, dependent reality. It is dependent on what? Atma, satyam. Okay. So, anirvachya means you cannot say it doesn't exist, and we'll see all this in detail. You cannot say it doesn't exist, you cannot say it exists. What is it in the form of? Anadi avidya rupam. This avidya without a beginning. It is in the form, the Karana Shariram is in the form of beginningless avidya. Beginningless avidya. So, the Karana Sharira has many adjectives. First, it cannot be categorically said to exist or not exist. One adjective. Second, it's in the form of ignorance, which is beginningless. Third, it is the cause of the other two bodies. Fourth, it is pure ignorance. It is not aware of itself as Sat. Number 5, it is an undifferentiated experience. Nirvikalpaka Rupam. It is non-dual. Nirvikalpa means there is nothing there. No differentiation. Okay, so this is Karana Shariram. So we'll take this one by one. First we'll take Anadi Avidya Rupam. It is in the form of the avidya, which is beginningless. Beginningless means what? Oh, avidya doesn't have a beginning. OMG, does that mean it does not have an ending? No, it has an ending, but we have to say it does not have a beginning. No, but I want avidya to have a beginning. I want to spot it and say, this is when avidya began. This is very dangerous proposition. If avidya had a beginning, then before avidya began, what was there? Before ajnanam began, what was there? Jnanam. Then ajnanam displaced jnanam. Avidya displaced vidya, because the two are tamah prakashavat viruddha svabhava. They both have opposite entities, opposite qualities. Like light and darkness cannot coexist in the same place at the same time. Avidya and vidya, ajnanam and jnanam are opposed to one another. This being the case, if avidya had a beginning, if ajnanam had a beginning, what was there before? Jnanam. Ajnanam is so powerful that it displaced Jnanam. Then again we would all be without job. The course would have to be shut down exactly at this point. So sad. Yes. Because if we get Jnanam now, let's say we understand. Okay, let's say the person understands, yes, I am Brahman, yippee. There will always be this lurking fear that avidya will begin again. When? After leaving the lecture hall, avidya begins. In the class, avidya ends. That's not the case. Once it goes, it doesn't come back. And so therefore, this proposition is not, that is why avidya has to have no beginning. That's the first reason. Vedanta covers itself very well, And the second reason avidya cannot have a beginning is because the thing is that what has a beginning and what, it's like, writing an essay on something. The origins of the civilization of Harappa, the origins of the Harappan civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization. If you start looking like that, then that means you are giving it a reality it does not have. When you trace the beginning of something, you're giving it a reality it doesn't have. That's the second reason, because it is mithya. If it is mithya, it is dependent on Sat. It is dependent. What is the Sat? The only Sat is me. If it is dependent on Atma, myself, then it is not a parallel reality to Atma. It is ajnanam or avidya, please listen very carefully, is not a parallel independent reality to Atma. What kind of Atma? Shuddha Buddha Nitya Mukta Atma. It is not a parallel reality. If it is a parallel reality, then we don't have non-duality. We have two. We can never have one. But there is only one here. And what kind of one? Non-dually one. So avidya also is what we call as though Brahmashraya, as though dependent upon Brahman. That is, if avidya has a locus, then it is non-separate from Brahman, we have to say. Even though it sounds odd, how can Brahman, the self-shining Brahman, the self-shining I, the all-knowing I, how can I harbor avidya? Don't get all tied up, because this is just mithya. Mithya avidya. In fact, this is something which is very, very well contested. There are two quote-unquote schools of thought here. The first one is what is Bhamati Mata. Bhamati was a very famous work written by one Vachaspati Mishra. It was a treatise on the Brahma Sutra. And so the followers are called Bhamatikaras or Bhamati Matas. So this is, why is it called Bhamati? Because it's named after his wife. Why did it name it after his wife? Because he was a workaholic. And he took 7, 10, 15 years to complete this text. And they looked up after writing the last word. And he saw one grey-haired lady standing there. And he said, "Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" You know? And she said, "I have been," "What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm your wife. I've been cooking, cleaning, and waiting patiently for you to finish this work." And he feels terribly guilty. On two counts, he feels guilty. He feels guilty for having neglected her, not even understood, having taken, not neglected, taken her for granted completely. Not even thought, where is the meals coming from? Where is the food coming from? Nothing he thought. And then what? And then that is the first reason he named it Bhamati. He felt guilty. The second reason he felt guilty was he had made a sankalpa, Vachaspati Mishra, that after he finishes this work, he will go away and take sannyasa. That's the reason. Very sad story for the lady, poor thing. Yeah, very bad. So that's why he named it Bhamati. So the followers of this Bhamati, they say that this ajnanam is the what is that? This ajnanam, Brahman cannot be touched by ajnanam. Jiva is the one experiencing the ajnanam. So how can you say Brahman has Atma ajnanam? Brahman cannot have ajnanam. Jiva is the source of ajnanam. This is what they contend. Whereas the school of thought that we here subscribe to, so to speak, is the other one, which is called Vivarana Mata. And in this Vivarana, we say everything has come from Brahman. Why do you have to exclude Ajnanam and make a big deal of Ajnanam? Don't give it the time of day. Don't even look at it. If you are comfortable saying the 5 elements came from Brahman, yes, you are comfortable saying that everything that has come from the 5 elements, various bodies, various minds, various senses, all of them have come from Brahman. Yes, if all of them have come from Brahman, why not Ajnanam also, that which has an iffy nature? It is not real, but at the same time it's experienced, and it's experienced by the jiva. So therefore you cannot say it is unreal. So here this clearly says it is Brahmashraya. Brahmashraya means dependent upon Brahman. So this is the, where does it say that? Avidya, anirvachya avidya rupam. So this is the, because it is anirvachya. Anirvachya means mithya. Mithya means it is dependent on satyam. There is only one satyam, which is I, which is Brahman. So shariradvayasya karanamatram. And then satswarupa ajnanam. Like even in sleep. In sleep you are just one with karana shariram. Satswarupa ajnanam. Total agrahanam. Total agrahanam without the projection of anyatha grahanam. Total agrahanam means total non-grasping of one's nature as such. No distortion here. Because I don't know myself, I'll think of myself as a sad person. No. In sleep, nobody is sad. There is no projection happening. There is just undifferentiated oneness. Nirvikalpaka rupam. Nirvikalpaka rupam. Satswarupasya ajnanam. And then what else? That is the thing. And then shariradvayasya karanamatram anirvachya anadi avidya rupam. So if you want to experience karana shariram, go to sleep. Not now, after class. Okay? Yeah. Because that undifferentiated is there. You see the undifferentiated? Yeah. Because there's no experience in particular. You are not experiencing the world of the sense organs. You are not the subtle body. You are not experiencing. You are not experiencing the gross body. You are not experiencing the subtle body. You are not experiencing anything at all. And you are just one with everything. Nirvikalpakarupam, undifferentiated. You are one with Bhagavan actually, but one doesn't know it. You are one with everything. Undifferentiated. This is called Karana Shariram. Then having finished the three Shariras, the student asked the question about the Avasthatraya Prakriya and then asked this question. Avasthatrayam Kim Jagrat Swapna Sushupti Avasthaha Jagrudaवस्था श्रोत्रादि ज्ञानेन्द्रियैः शब्दादि विषयैः च ज्ञायते इति या सा जागृदवस्था स्थूल शरीर अभिमानी आत्मा विश्वः इति उच्यते. So Jagrad Avastha before that. So what is this Avasthatrayam? What is this? Three avasthas. Avastha is a state that you get into and come out of. Temporary. What are the three avasthas? First one is Jagrat. Jagrat means what? Waking. And then Swapna, dreaming. Sushupti, sleeping. These are the three avasthas. Nothing much to say there. It's just a list because each one is going to be described in detail. So talking about the Jagrad avastha, the author says, Shrotradi Jnanendriyaihi Shabdadi Vishayaihi cha Jnayate itiya sa Jagrad avastha. So let's keep that aside. Let's just look at it generally speaking. This is the subject matter of the Mandukya Upanishad. This Avasthatraya Prakriya features very, very prominently. This is the modality or this is the, what is that called? This is the Prakriya, the pedagogy that is used very much in the Mandukya Upanishad. A very brilliant Upanishad where these avasthas are talked about very, very beautifully. When I awaken from where? Sleep. From sleep avastha, I awaken. When I awaken, am I in a vacuum? No. When I stretch, then what happens? There is the world also is slowly getting up and stretching. The individual waker is inextricably connected to what we call the waking world. The waking world is the world of objects. Shabda Vishayas, Shabda Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these things, the objects of the five senses, is the waking world, really. So if I wake up and there is nothing to connect to, then that's not the arrangement. I wake up and I encounter an expanding universe, to use the physicist's expression. The physicists will say the universe is still expanding. And if you ask them how, they'll give an example of a balloon with polka dots or small dots. Let's say a balloon with dots are there, blue balloon with white dots are there. Then what do? You take it to the mouth and go foo, 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 foo. As the balloon grows bigger, what happens to the dots? They go farther and farther away from each other. This is exactly how the universe is. The universe is expanding, just like it is, just like the I who has awoken. I am in the waking state. The universe is in an active state of manifestation. I awaken to experience a manifesting universe. So the individual waker is connected to the waking world. Both are Bhagavan. There is no super soul, soulless soul. What is that? Jivatma, Paramatma, nothing. It's all just one. That same Bhagavan, fitted with the ability to complain, is called Jiva. Simple. That's all there is. When you don't complain, you are Bhagavan. That's all there is. It's as simple as that. There's only one Bhagavan. And so this Ishvara in the form of the waker, the one who is complaining, I didn't have enough sleep, and the one who is rubbing the eyes and looking for tea, this is what? This is called Vishwa. Vishwa, the universe, the individual waker. And then the individual waker cannot exist without the waking world to which one is connected, with which one is interacting, and that is called Virat. Virat, Vividham Rajate iti Virat, that which shines variously is called Virat. Vividham Rajate. Beautiful. So this Vishwa and Virat are one package. They go together. It's like, the best example I can give is like a rural Indian bus stop. Where the bus stops in a village in India, you don't even know. It is not marked. You just have to go by inference and anubhava of other people. Once I was in a village, and then I said, where, is today's bus coming? Where is today's bus coming? They just pointed to a spot on the ground. There was nothing there. Just dry rocks, no building, no, not even a pole with a bus stop sign. I went and stood there. And then I heard the noise. I said, is that today's bus? Every day only one bus. Is that today's bus? He said, no. I said, are you sure? Yeah. I didn't speak the language very well. So I said, are you sure this is not today's bus? Because by the time the bus had pulled up, and then a few people started to get in, they said, no, we are positive it is not today's bus. So then it went. Then I said, but it went to the city. Yes. But you said it's not today's bus. That was yesterday's bus, madam. So I had to stay one more day. So, but that's not my experience at the bus stop. I wanted to narrate. I want to narrate what happened before that. So I was shown a dry piece of ground right there, ghost time. And what is the proof that this is the bus stop? Nothing. But somehow they knew, they didn't have a sense. This was about, 20, 30 years ago. They didn't have a sense of, what is that? They didn't have cell phones. They didn't know the bus had left the other village, but somehow they knew. There was a sixth sense connection with this blessed bus. Whether it was yesterday's or today's doesn't matter. But then, before the appointed time, suddenly one man came pushing a cart, small cart. It didn't look like much, but then it opened up into many things. And then there was a tea pan, and a little stove came out, and that was pumped. And then the stove started to just put out flames. And then they put the little saucepan on that, put milk, put water. Chai was underway. And then another 2-3 ladies came with big baskets. One started to open the basket, there were flowers, and she started to string the flowers. Another one was selling cucumbers. It was a hot day, perhaps. Third one was selling something else, all in these little leaf things. Instantly just made it up there. All what? for the sake of the bus, because the travelers then would be having the chai, would be having the eats, would be having all the things. So similarly, the bus here is the waking person, and the world that suddenly appears is what? The waking world. To our mind, it suddenly appears, but it is all already there. It's there to receive the waking person. And then, as you know the whole story now, that's why I told you the sad part first, that after I missed the bus, I was told it is yesterday's bus. Then I saw very quickly everything, just the whole tea seller compacted his kiosk into a small little push cart. The ladies just disappeared, demanifested from there. Yeah. Tiro Bhavanam, completely demanifested. And again, I was standing on a hot, dry pile of rocks. So, this is the waker connecting very interestingly, beautifully to the waking world. And this is what is described here. Waker is called Vishwa. This is said. Waking world, here the world, Bhagavan in the form of the world, the manifesting universe is called Virat. And that is what is described. What is the waking state? Shrotradi Jnanendriyaihi. Along with the sense organs like the ears, etc. Shabdadi Vishayaihi cha. Shabdadi Vishayaihi cha means where the sense organs are connected to the sense objects, where the sense objects are perceived by the sense organs. In which state of experience the sense objects are perceived by the sense organs, that is called the waking state. That is one definition. Understood? The experience whereby the sense or objects are brought to light by the corresponding sense organs, sa jagrat avastha. And then the other one says, the other definition says, sthula sharira abhimani atma. Who is this Vishwa? Sthula sharira abhimani. In the Mandukya Upanishad, called as Sthula Bhuk. The one that is eating. Bhuk means eating. The one who is the eater, the experiencer of the gross objects in the waking world, as the waker. Sthula Sharira Abhimani. Not only Sthula Sharira Abhimani, but Abhimani means identified with the physical body. This I, the waker, who is identified with the physical body, not just physical body. The subtle body and the causal body also are included, but the physical body is highlighted here because we are talking about the waking state. The waking state has a natural association with the physical body, and through the physical body and the subtle body also is here. Why? Because the Shrotra, etc. is given. The sense organs are given here. So, the state of experience in which I, as the waker, experience objects of the sense organs through my various sense organs is called the waking state. I am called Vishwa, the one who is identified with primarily with the physical body. That is Vishwa. Then Swapnavastha ka iti chet. What is, supposing I were to ask, the student says, what is the dream state? Then the teacher responds very beautifully. Jagratavasthayam yad drishtam yad shrutam tat janita vasanaya Nidra samaye yah prapanchah yatiyate sa swapnavastha sukshma sharira abhimani atma tejasah iti uchyate. we'll just see the translation and tomorrow we'll discuss this. What is Swapnavastha? Yadyad drishtam, yadyad shrutam. Whatever has been seen, whatever has been heard, tat janita. As a result of that, vasanaya. As a result of those remembrances, impressions, when felt in the sleep, nidra samaye, in the sleep, because the author understands you can't suddenly go from waking to dream. You have to have sleep in between, even though technically we are discussing it like this. Nidra samaye, during the time of sleep, yaf prapanchaha pratiyate. That what was seen and heard in the waking state is the dream state. That world, prapanchaha, that world which is cognized is called Swapnavastha. And here the self is primarily identified with the subtle body, and the Atma identified with the subtle body is called Taijasa, the effulgent one. Now we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om